Wally, the Worry Warthog, by Barbara Shookhazen. Illustrated by Janet Stevens. Wally was a warthog who worried a lot about a lot of things, like grizzly bears and ghosts and little green men from Mars. Worse, he worried about the saber-toothed trolls who squatted under Suspension Bridge, waiting to slash him to slithers every day on his way to school. Because of them, Wally always carried rocks in his pockets and walked very fast. Worst of all, Wally worried about Wilberforce Warthog, who was huge and hairy and never smiled, and always wore big double-thick gloves. Wally worried about what he imagined was under those gloves. Whenever Wally saw Wilberforce, he fingered the rocks in his pockets. He avoided him whenever possible. One day, it wasn't possible. Wally and Wilberforce were both crossing Suspension Bridge at the same time. Wally closed his eyes tight and walked very fast as he neared the middle. Oof! He and Wilberforce collided midway. Each backed off and glared at the other. "Move!" said Wilberforce, swinging his huge gloved paws like giant pendulums. Wally said nothing but pushed his paws deeper into his rock-bulgy pockets. "Move!" said Wilberforce, stomping his feet so hard the bridge swayed wildly. Wally pulled his paws out of his pockets to hold on, and Wilberforce pulled off his gloves. Both gasped. Wilberforce gasped at the sight of the mean-looking rocks that clunked onto the bridge boards. Wally gasped at the sight of Wilberforce's bare paws. They weren't huge and horrible. They didn't have needle-sharp nails. They didn't have nails at all. They were, in fact, puny and pink and chewed to the quick. "What happened to your nails?" Wally asked, eyes wide and staring. "I bite my nails," said Wilberforce. I bite them because I worry." "About what?" asked Wally, amazed. He'd thought he was the only one who worried. "I worry about all sorts of things," said Wilberforce, turning red and looking at the ground. "Things like avalanches and earwigs and terrible razor-tailed alligators who live here under Suspension Bridge waiting to munch me to mincemeat. And about you," Wilberforce said. "I worry about why you hate me and always avoid me, which is why I chew my nails and my mother makes me wear gloves." "I don't hate you," Wally said, taking a small step closer. "But I worry, too, about a lot of things like grizzly bears and ghosts and little green men from Mars. And I used to worry about what was under your great, big, double-thick gloves. Only now that I know, I don't. Worst of all, Wally went on in a whisper, I worry about the terrible saber-toothed trolls who squat here under Suspension Bridge, waiting to slash me to slithers. That's why I carry rocks in my pockets, to protect myself from the trolls. Alligators, said Wilberforce. Trolls, said Wally. I've got an idea, Wally said. Let's grab some rocks and take a look now that there are two of us. That way we'll see if they're trolls or alligators. So they did. They looked over one side of Suspension Bridge and then the other. To their happy surprise, there weren't any saber-toothed trolls or razor-tailed alligators either. So they crossed the bridge together, talking about all the other things they worried about, like vampires and killer trees and snakes with laser eyes, said Wally. Like ghouls and crusher vines and mutant mosquitoes, said Wilberforce. Then they went down to the water and skipped the rest of the rocks, which was the beginning of a fine, close friendship, as well as worrying less.